Welcome, everyone, to Chirping Zebras. Mark Riley, virtually alongside Gino Bender Jr. and Josh Dolan, coming to you from the interwebs. And we're excited for a great episode. Before we get into that, want to remind you to like and subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on the social medias, the Instagram, the Facebook, and, of course,
the TikTok.
Thank you. Also want to thank our sponsors, the Referees Crease, your one-stop shop for all your refereeing needs, from training, development, scheduling, paying. They do it all. Also want to thank Damon Financial LLC. For over 24 years, Damon Financial has helped families and businesses grow and protect their wealth with clear, trusted strategies, from retirement planning and investments to tax-efficient solutions. They deliver no-nonsense advice focused on your goals. Call them at 508-321-2101 today to schedule your meeting with Damon Financial, or find more information at damonfinancial.com. And also want to throw a shout out to AOA Studios. We got some live podcasts coming up, including the big one at Laugh Boston. So we're excited about that with the parade. So we got a lot of things in the works, and we're really excited to have you guys along for the ride. And the last episode, Darren McCarty. That's a train running on a track that can't be stopped.
It's rare that we get out chirped.
I know.
He came in guns a-blazing.
Yeah.
And he didn't let Rocky up for air once.
No, he kept going at me. I said I only watched Heated Rivalry for the comedic research. That was it.
For research.
He did not believe me. But what a guest. I mean,
he was great.
What a good guy. And, like I said, he'll never pay for a beer in Boston because he beat the bag out of Claude Lemieux.
Yeah.
Right? So no one likes Claude Lemieux. And if Claude Lemieux is listening and you want to come on, by all means, we'll have you on. But
yeah,
we probably won't be nice. So, Gino, we'll get you. We'll have you drive in traffic and get you all fired up if Claude Lemieux comes on. So you're all fired up.
I wouldn't need traffic for that one.
Could go regular Gino on that one. He wouldn't even need any inspiration.
Gino will throw him into a Honda Civic just like Cam did into the boards with.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Yep. No, Darren was great. And today's guest, I mean, the Shoresy train, they keep getting off at the stop. Jacob Smith, a.k.a. Fish from Shoresy, a great dude. And what a great story on how he got on the show.
Right. No, I mean, great guy. I mean, it sucks that his character kind of went away, but it's his story's great. Just how he talks about it and where he is now in life and how everything's great. So no, that was awesome.
Yeah. Well, and we got the invite to go down and play golf down in West Palm Beach. So we got that going for us.
Exactly.
Don't tell my father that.
Yeah. We don't, you don't want to bring your dad?
No, you fucking, yeah, no, all set.
All I can think of is we posted it. That's my dad when he dove into the puddle.
Oh, right.
Yeah. It's just a classic Big Gene moment. No, yeah, we got some trips we have to get done. We got to go up to Maine to see Jedi. We're going to the Hall of Fame. Now we got to go down to Florida. So we got some places to go. The Zebras are going to be on the road.
Yeah.
Just like we're going to be on the road and on our parade float.
Exactly.
So come full circle for Gino.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what Gino Sr.'s wearing on the float.
I wonder maybe he'll wear his knickers.
Yeah, maybe. Well, he'll have his special sweatshirt on, and I told him I get a milk crate for him to stand on so he can see over the side. So he'll be all set. So we're gonna be careful. He'll pull the sponsorship. We'll be screwed. We won't be on scholarship anymore. Well, without further ado, we had a great conversation with Jacob Smith. Again, Fish from Shoresy. So I think everyone's going to really enjoy this one. So sit back, relax, and enjoy our conversation with Jacob Smith.
I believe that is a zebra on the ice, Bill.
How did he get on the ice?
That's amazing. They still can't get him off the ice. This is crazy. Here comes all the zebras. It's a zoo out there.
You can't do that. Doesn't matter. Get in the box.
Welcome everyone to Chirping Zebras. Maybe we'll all embrace the zebra side.
We don't pronounce our R's, and we don't.
I've never heard sidewards before. It was more
Sideways.
is a good idea.
Sideways. Yeah. We have a lot of
Irregardless.
weird things. Everyone busts my balls because I call it roast steer chicken. And they're like, it's rotisserie. And I'm like, to me, it's roast steer. That's what I've always called
Nobody
it.
says roastier. Well, I've
Well, I
never
fucking
heard that.
knew. And no one said the TikTok till I started saying it. Now everyone says it.
Well, a
Well, I-
steer and a chicken is different. Those are two different things.
Yeah, I know I'm wrong. I've accepted it.
Just trying to make everyone change with you.
You know, it's all about me,
It's like that.
motherfuckers.
It's like
Um,
that movie Bill Burr's in. It's like, nah.
Yeah.
What did I say? How did
Yeah.
I say it?
Irregardless. Good thing it's landscaping day here. This is great. I might have to go inside. Can you guys hear that in the background?
No.
So that's iPhone's like ability to just block it out. Cool.
Yeah, and
So-
also this software will it'll cancel out background noise and like isolate right on you too.
okay,
So
perfect.
so
So
you're
like
good.
you looks like you're caged in there. Is that what's more dangerous down there, the bugs or the gators?
I think these are for the bugs, but I don't really know.
I don't think the gator's gonna. That's not gonna hold back a
No,
gator.
it's not gonna hold a gator. That's true.
I haven't seen a gator. I've been here for 6 months. I haven't seen a gator in our little canal here. So
Well,
I don't know.
if we see one coming behind you, we'll give you a shout
yeah, just give me a heads up.
and let you know.
I'll wrestle him to the ground.
That'll be great
I
for
don't-
clicks.
Yeah,
That'll go viral for sure.
100% of them.
Fish
100%.
wrestles gator.
See a zebra drop by.
Yeah. Fish takes down gator. News at 11.
And it's just Tim Tebow.
So you actually grew up in Sudbury.
Yes, sir.
So what's that like being in a show that's based in Sudbury? Because you're the only one that grew up there, right?
Max.
Oh, Max did too. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Max did. I think that's it. Yeah, it's just me and Max. Yeah, I mean, it's weird. I don't know. It felt very similar to like my 20 years of life. Playing the character. And not just the character, but just the show in general and like what we did on a daily basis. Like it felt like a show of my hockey career. So pretty interesting.
Now, you kind of, I bet, play the role you play is kind of like how you were as a player. I'm guessing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's because I didn't know how to act. So I just kind of stepped into what I knew, I guess
What?
you could say.
Well, isn't that what he was going for? Right? Hire somebody like, yeah, this is what I want.
I think that's what he was going for, and it definitely worked out. We talk about it all the time on tour, how much this paid off, and actually the fact that Goon's a movie, so it's a little different. But like they're not on tour, like these shows. Maybe Slapshot is, but they don't play. They're just more meet and greets, and like the reason we can do these tours is because we can actually play. The popularity of the show is obviously one thing, but the production value of an actual show that we put on live is it's legit as it comes. Like you talk about, the fight with Morasti, like he actually used to fight. You talk about the skating, the snapping the puck around, like the chemistry that we're starting to build as a team. These NHL guys are starting to notice it, and it's not just a bunch of actors. So it actually paid off in the long run to hire hockey players, because now we can actually sell something other than the show.
And like,
Yeah, because you don't
and
see
partner
the
up with-
Mighty Ducks out there and Keenan Thompson doing knuckle pucks. So it
partner up with those, the alumni people and like all those events. Like those guys, they do a ton of great things for charity.
Yeah.
And, they love, like, just kinda like how the show is, right? Like, what they miss about hockey is the locker room, the atmosphere, being with the boys,
Right.
being with the guys, and all that kinda stuff, and that's what you guys bring, and then, like, combining that with what they're doing, it's just a no-brainer. It's like it's almost like it's like a natural fit. It's awesome that you guys
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah, it truly is, and we get treated so well too. Like it's not like we're just going in at 30 minutes before warm up and slapping on the skates and going on the ice and leaving. Like we get this I say pro hockey mentality, pro hockey feel when we step into the rink in these things. And, we have any sort of Gatorade hydration drink, non hydration drink, if you get my drift. Uh, uh, Dehydration drink. uh,
Break routine.
Yeah.
yeah. We get all the they set us up with sticks, any sort of equipment we need. We go in 2 hours early. We obviously do a meet and greet and a signing, so we have to be there. We get free meals, free food, free snacks, free anything. Like we get treated the same way as Pittsburgh Penguins would or the Washington Capitals would. And I say those two teams because we were following one on our Western swing, and then the one was following us. So it's like we were right in the middle of these two teams, and it's just wild to even say that out loud. To say that, and so it's really cool, man. They do good things.
We brought it up before. It's kind of a throwback to Slapshot because George Roy Hill, the director, wanted to hire hockey players, not actors, and make it authentic, right? And
Right.
make it, real. And that's exactly what Jared did with the show.
Yep, 100%.
And I'm sure. So you obviously grew up playing hockey. You played through college. Playing NHL is everyone's dream, right? But now you get to kind of live that dream, playing in all these buildings and playing all these former NHLers. That's got to be pretty sick.
Yeah, I could go many different routes to answer that question. I think the one I'm going to take though is the gift of the ability to play in these buildings against your hockey idols
Mhm.
and not have to stress about making a lineup, not having to stress about performing, not having to stress about am I going to get hit? I got to be prepared. Am I in shape? Did I sleep enough the night before? Did I eat enough that day? How's my warm up? Am I awake? Do I need like all these things that maybe hockey players don't necessarily think about, but we just do because we're wrapped in the competition mentality. We're playing hockey for 8-9 months a year. The stress of that puts on you after 82 games, after 90 games, 100 games, if it's playoffs, whatever it is like you almost don't realize it. But with this, I finally realized that wow, there's so much less stress showing up at the rink and just going out and having a good time and actually putting on a show. You're putting on a show for these fans. So like I was always, and when I'm my hockey career, I was always benched for dangling because I'd cough up the puck. Now it's like encouraged. Now it's like, yeah, toe drag, throw it through your legs and spin around, dude. Fans love it. And you know what? And if you screw it up, so what, dude? Whatever. We'll do
Try
it
it
again
again.
next year. So that part of it is so much easier, so much better, and there's so much less stress, like a pond hockey game without the competition. So that part, and then I briefly mentioned it earlier, the part where you get to play your hockey idols. You're not competing against guys your same age. You're still playing, like, you talk about a lot of these younger 21-year-old, 22-year-olds playing against Crosby and Ovechkin and these players who are established are playing against their hockey idols. And that's the thing, but now you're competing against them. This one, you're just having fun with them. There's a different element that brings. And it's truly a gift to be able to do that. One that I don't think is even set in yet. It's starting to sink in. It's played its role in sinking in, but I'm sure I'll look back 10 years down the road and say, what just happened?
And who is that? Like, who is the player that you looked up to the most that you've been able to play against?
Man, that's a good question. I haven't really sat with that one. I mean, the one that's at the forefront of the mind is Vancouver. Playing against the Sedins was that was something special. I don't think I'll ever forget. There actually, you know what? Playing against the Sedins is one thing, but being on the ice with them and actually we talk about the competition aspect. There is still an element of competition here. You're still trying a little bit, and they're trying maybe 5%, but their 5% and my 90% are so different, you know. And there was a moment, I think I have a video of it, where they tic-tac-toe. I think it was Wellwood maybe they were playing with, and they tic-tacked so hard, I spun around, and then I thought I was in a position to block the shot. I took a knee, and he faked the shot past it, and I slipped out. I looked like an absolute, like, dummy one skating around there, but it really gives you that perspective. Like, if these guys played 100%, there's just so many leagues above what you think you're capable of. So, it's a humbling experience, but I think that specific that game with the Sedin brothers, I think because there's two of them, was probably the most like most impressive. Well, and Doug Gilmore. Doug Gilmore was my GM when I played in the OHL. So playing with him on the ice as a Leaf, like seeing him in the Leafs jersey was really, really special. And Todd Gill was the head coach at that time. So playing with those two guys was special. So I'd say the Toronto game and the Vancouver game, as far as like playing against the guys that really stood out, would be the two games.
That's so cool that you like Bergeron being on the ice with him. Like the first time I was out there with him, I'm like, it's fucking produce Bergeron, like
Yeah.
that's really cool shit,
Yeah.
And
And kind of like what Jacob was saying, like you being on the ice, like do you you go from like being like, holy shit, that's Patrice Bergeron, but then it just kind of goes back to being hockey for a few seconds and you forget
Yeah.
it's just like beer league, and then you're like, oh my, and then Patrice
Yeah.
turns the Jets on and
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I was a freshman in college, and I did the black and gold game, the Bruins black and gold scrimmage, right? It was, I refereed it. I lined, my father and Ryan Sweeney lined it, but Patrice was a rookie. I had no idea who he was. I was just doing the game. The big names out there were like Thornton, Samsonov, like Marty Lapointe, and, Samsonov scored like right away. And then like I get back to college and my coach goes, "Hey, how was that game? How was Bergeron? How did Bergeron look?" I go, "Who the fuck is Bergeron?" I was just on the ice with Thornton and Samsonov. I was like, oh, so funny.
I did that black and white game when Ray Bourque was dating myself a little bit, but when he got traded, the year he got traded at the Avalanche and won the cup, I did it that year, and he almost took me out coming off the bench, and it was pretty funny because I was like, he goes, "Hey, Stripe, sorry about that." I'm like, "You're Ray Bourque, fucking run me over all you want." Come on, you nuts?
Yeah.
Hey, wait a minute. And you ref the 2011 Cup one the year they traded Marshy. So you got to stop refing those games because they're trading our captains every time you do.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, maybe it's me. Fuck.
They don't even have a captain right now.
What was it like playing overseas? Because we've had a lot of guys on that have done that, and the experience is obviously completely different than here. What was that like?
Honestly, it was probably my most favorite. Actually, it was my second most favorite year of hockey. Playing so I played in France. I played in the Division 1 league out there, and it was decent hockey. It was probably equivalent to I'd like to say it's in between the USHL and the ECHL. So,
Okay.
So the
I
Southern
mean,
Pro League.
yeah, but the Southern Pro League has I don't know. It wasn't maybe it's not as skilled. Like that's why I say the USHL has a lot of players who are in the development process, and the ECHL has a lot of guys that are still like fighting for their careers. So that's why I say it's a mix of skill and grit. But obviously, there has to be a majority of French players on each team. So the skill is capped at a certain level. Obviously, France doesn't have a whole lot of development system. But that being said, the actual experience itself was what I went for, not necessarily the hockey. And the experience was phenomenal. It was like so incredibly different than what I grew up in Northern Ontario. I'm in this town in northwest, like kind of France, and in the middle of nowhere where I know really nobody. I mean, the town's 50, 60,000, but it's sleepy 50, 60,000. It's not really much going on there. The buildings are different. The roads are different. It's so easy to travel and get around. I went to Paris like 7, 8 times. We don't stay in hotels at all. So it's all like sleeper bus travel. but the ease of travel and like ability to go country to country and just be in Europe was it's something that if any hockey player at that like 16, 17, 18-year-old age is, or even like 20, 21 finishing college, and they're like, I don't really want to grind in the coast or the SBI, not really wanting to I don't know if I want to be a third, fourth line. There is so much opportunity overseas, even in those France leagues or the German leagues or the Swiss leagues, or even like Italy has a few leagues. Like, okay, you don't make $100,000, $150,000 a year, but you make enough to make a living, to save a little bit money, and to actually travel. And so I encourage anybody who's on the cusp and who's maybe a little bit intimidated to commit to grinding at that pro level to take a trip over there because it was one of the best years of my life.
Same with refereeing too. I have a buddy over there. He, got let go by the National Hockey League. He's over there working at a pretty high level and I think at the Swiss League. And then, I had another buddy that went over to Russia.
And then brought like the
Russia was nuts.
officiating out there is probably similar to hockey out there. You just it's a wild wild west. You just you're kind of going game by game, hoping you stay
Oh, yeah.
alive.
Oh, yeah. Yep. He has some horror stories, but yeah, they're good ones. He had a good experience for the most part, but it was wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if he got paid for anything under the table.
No, he didn't. He would have told us. But yeah, it was like it was sketchy, but it was everything was on the level. I don't know if Paul Stewart was in charge then. He might have been. But yeah, Paul Stewart was running the referees over there for a while in the KHL.
Yeah, John Morasti talked about going over there and having a great experience.
Yeah.
He even liked Putin. So, yeah,
Well, there you go. To each their own, man. I don't
yeah,
know. I don't
you
know.
never know,
I don't know much about Putin. I've never met him. I just hear what the media says about him, and that could be right. It could be wrong. Who knows?
right? So I want to go back to the show for a second because your character on the show is pretty interesting in that you know you're you're kind of not one of the five, but your character I think has developed more than almost any other character in the show. And is that something that was on purpose? I mean, it seems like Jared does everything on purpose, right? Um,
Yeah.
but you know what I mean? Like you went from this, you know, guy who didn't want to buy in, didn't like him, you know, even wanted to like kind of mutiny, right? To now all of a sudden you're part of the team and it kind of changed the whole dynamic of the locker room.
hmm Um. So I guess to answer that question, I would have to probably hand it off to Jared because he's the writer of this. So I don't know where his intent lied. I do know the second I walked into the room and met him, he grabbed me by the shoulders and said, "I'm going to make you a star." So I think that in that respect, I think he had a plan for Fish's character. He foresaw it, like he has a great vision for things, for especially with writing. But I do want to say that he does write season to season, so I'm not quite sure, uh, where his head's at, and he changes it when things come about. Now, in the third season, there was an opportunity for Fish's character to cut his hair and be a part of that scene. And I think that would have skyrocketed Fish's character into maybe a fourth season, fifth season role. And just where I was at that time, it just didn't fit. Let's just leave it there. But yeah, I told him no, and he went a different direction. And I feel like part of that would have been Fish's character development growing. And instead, I think other characters had a chance to develop in that way. So just interesting how that played out. But I don't know if he had a plan for Fish's character from the start. That's a good question. I'd actually like to ask him about that.
Yeah, it'd be cool because I mean, you look at kind of the analysis and whatnot, and the scene with the dip. Everyone talks about that kind of scene with it representing you buying in.
Mhm.
Before that, it was kind of like fuck you. And that was it's interesting because you're that's a huge arc that I think a lot of people probably don't even pick up on.
Right. I didn't pick up on it.
And you were a part of it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love the fact that, every hockey team, and I'm sure we've all been on a team where one guy kind of gets his balls busted, pretty hard. He calls you the ugly one when you're clearly not, which is a fucking funny thing because I remember a kid on my college team. We used to call him fucking ugly, and he was like fucking slayed everything. And it's kind of funny because it proves that the locker room on the show is just like a locker room in regular life.
Hmm. Yeah. I think he does a good job of respecting the star players in a way. So the character, how do I say this? The characters are respected. Like if Shoresy respects the character, you're going to respect the character as a result. But he also does a good job at sharing the wealth of his language, like sharing the chirping wealth around too. And he does pick on some players. I mean, I'm sure there are a few names come to mind with JJ and Michaels and stuff. But yeah, I think for the most part, like Fish kind of started as like the leader of the useless in the first season, and that kind of evolved into sort of a role that I didn't anticipate, but nevertheless, it was exciting to be a part of.
Now, when you played, were you a chirper?
I got really nervous a lot. But there was like in my third and fourth year of junior and college, it started to come out of me a little more. But I wasn't quick enough for that. So I think the honest answer was like not really.
Now, what about referees? Because we're obviously the Zebras. What was your interaction with referees?
Good. I don't know if I mean, respectful, I think I have to say. One of my best friends, Marco, he was a referee in college because I went to college in Sudbury as well. I went to Laurentian and played for the team for 4 years. And there was a pretty important game where, gosh, I want to say we were down like 5 with like 3 minutes left. I don't know. I might be butchering the story. I think it was a tight game though, because I wouldn't have got that frustrated if it wasn't. But I got a breakaway pass and I was so onside. I have the video of it. I was so onside. I was like, I was thinking about what shot I was going to make before the puck even touched my stick. And he blew it down. This is one of my best friends. I'm on a breakaway and it's 6-5 with 3 minutes left. So, I mean, like little things like that I can pop up to my forefront of my mind when you ask what's your altercation with rest. But I remember just ripping him on the ice. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like we're in a
At
whatever
least give it to
game.
me anyway.
Oh man, gosh, dude, it was frustrating. And then we went back and forth for a couple weeks until I scrounged up the video, and then I sent it to him, and then I won that battle. Um, yeah, no, honestly, nothing. Nothing other than that, nothing. I got it maybe a couple tens from screaming at the ref, but nothing nobody's never done before.
I got
You,
4
you,
my freshman year, college.
Yeah. There you go.
your buddy should have done what I did when I refereed Gino back in the day. When he stabbed someone, I was like, "Yeah, I don't think that was that bad of a shish kebab. I think I'm gonna not call that." you know,
Yeah.
My college coach used to get mad at me because he thought that we were, like, losing power plays because they were letting stuff go from the other team because I was letting stuff go on my end. Like, I was, like, you know, cheap, but I wasn't, like, dirty. I don't know. I was just, like, maybe take an
sorry,
interference or something out front, like, knock the kid down, but
I couldn't keep a straight
whatever.
face. You weren't dirty.
No.
I remember hockey night in Boston, kid.
Yeah, that's true.
A 5 was a 2, and a 2 was nothing.
Yeah, play on. Nothing
And
to
a
see
2
here.
is nothing.
And I got all the phantom assists.
Yeah.
Always.
That's old time hockey right there.
Oh, all the kids in the USHL. So I worked the USHL for a season, and like all the kids that were out in Boston or were from Boston, or I saw them in juniors before they went out there. And I would walk out in the ice, and they'd all be like, "Oh, yeah, Bender's ref, and we got a point night tonight," because every single one of them got assists, like, all of them. Like, I would skate by the bench, they'd be sitting there, I'd be like, "Hey, nice pass."
Yeah. Yeah. There's a couple of those like where you just throw a number in the ref's ear and he's not even like paying attention to you and that's
Yeah.
what he remembers. So when he goes up to the box, he goes, 9, I guess.
I always tell when I ask who got the apples, and the kids look at me, and I'm like, dude, always call your own number.
Yeah,
Why
exactly.
wouldn't you say, oh, 13? Oh, okay. And like when they are smart enough, I'm like, all right, you'll get another couple.
Yeah.
I always
Yeah,
wondered why
exactly.
the kids look at you like what the
Especially
fuck?
when they know there's only one assist. So there's one free.
Yeah, I know. Unbelievable.
Jimmy
Josh, you
Doyle
had
gave me, like, 7 one night in high school. It was awesome.
7
Well,
assists.
speaking of getting
Outstanding.
like a couple of tens in a game, that made me think of a couple of tens being at the House of Blues a couple years ago when the Shoresy guys were playing the Agandis Arena, and then Dolo had a concert at the House of Blues, and there was just a couple tens in the house, and it was me and Fish, and everyone thought I was you. And I know I was telling you about that at the
Yeah.
garden, but it was insane. Like, do you get that a lot? Like, where I think you said that you've never gotten like a number, but that night I got like 50, and people kept thinking I was you. I was like, no, I couldn't find you. You were just in the corner minding your own business, and I was like, where is this kid?
I think there's a lot to be said about energy, like the way you carry yourself. And I think I'm very closed off because I'm married. like
Yeah.
I try not to give anybody the time of day. And I've been married since Shoresy started, so that was never a thing for me. Even in public settings, like, listen, I'll take a photo with you and I'll be really nice, but I think your eyes speak 1,000 words, and I think I make sure my eyes are
Yeah.
monogamous
Well, I
eyes.
was closed off too because I was going through a divorce. I wanted nothing to do with anything.
No, they smell that from a mile away, dude. Come on now.
I was I was standing with him, and the people were like waving from down below, and they came up to him, and I'm like, I was on the fucking ice. Like, what's going on here? I'm like, I'm single.
Oh man.
My divorce is well over, and
Yeah.
I got nothing. So that's all
Yeah.
right.
Well, yeah, it's fine.
No, I turned them all away. That's stolen valor. So
What if my blessing is on it?
Do you? So now, like, you weren't an actor. Now you kind of are. Do you have like a desire to do other stuff?
So I as another probably thing I wrestled with when I first got in it, because everybody and my dog were telling me that it's the most important, the number one thing you need to get into the acting world is your ACTRA, and to get your ACTRA is really tough, and to get into the union is really tough. And now that I was in, like, a lot of people were telling me, and Jared included, was like, dude, like, you can do something special with this. Like, this can actually be something that you run with. Nobody gets this opportunity. And so that was in the back of my mind. It's like, oh, well, I got to take advantage. And that's always been something I struggle with. Oh, how can I make this how can I make the most out of this situation? And it's actually been a blessing, but it's also been a huge curse for me, because I've really kind of, you know, dug into concrete with a lot of things in my life as a result of how can I make the most out of this. And so for the first season and a half, I was very focused on, like, should I get an agent? Like, do I watch this evolve? Like, am I going to get phone calls? Like, people are going to see this. How's this going to play out? Um, and then there was a conversation between me and Jared, and he said he would, he's anything I need. He's so great, man. He's like, anything you need, I got you. So I said, yeah. And I talked to him. I said, listen, I'm thinking about getting an agent. He goes, dude, I got a great team. I think they would love to have you, whatever. So I had a couple conversations with an agent. She sent me over paperwork. I verbally committed, saying, "Yeah, I think we're gonna do this." And then I had a really good conversation with my wife about what that entails, about the commitment level that's required, and I was also planning on moving to Florida, and so it just didn't seem like a right opportunity. So I actually had to bail out last second and just pull a shoot on that. Ever since then, it's just never been a calling to me. The mind and body of Jacob Smith is very much like, uh, you should do it, but my heart is really much. I don't think that's the right calling for me. If that makes a whole lot of sense.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, it makes a ton of sense, and I struggle with that too. Like I like the things I do with like this podcast, with like my radio career, or like working for the Bruins alumni. I'm always like, I kind of feel like I overthink that though, where I'm like, how can I make the most of this? And then I obsess over that, and then I feel like it takes me out of it to where I'm not even enjoying what I'm doing. And then I've learned to really like step back and just be like,
Be
all right,
present.
what do we got to do? And is this like, that's a good skill that you have, and that you know that and can look at it with a bird's eye view. Cause I feel like sometimes people get lost in it, but I totally respect when, like, didn't Pat Shea, like, leave like, some people, like, wanna be in that position that Pat Shea was in, and then he kinda retired early because he had a passion for, like, acting and doing this kinda stuff,
Yeah,
and I totally respect that.
Pat was the opposite. So Pat Shea, I don't know, he did a show called Full Ride, and it's on YouTube, and it's kind of about
Home of the
college hockey
Bucks.
players. Home of the
Home of the
Bucks.
Bucks.
You got the sweatshirt on. I almost wore mine today. Gino and I played the coach. Gino was my assistant, and it's a hilarious show. Matter of fact, Jared came up to me on and the warm ups of the game at the Garden. He was like, "Dude, I love that show on YouTube that you're in." And I was like, "What the fuck?" But Pat was someone who played at UMaine and was played, I think, a year in the Coast League or the American League, and just
Mariners.
didn't want to get beat up, playing minor pro for years, and
Mhm.
decided to kind of take his talents. And now he has a great, following on Instagram and the TikTok, and does all that stuff. So it's kind of like the kind of the other way,
Yeah.
going from something that he could have done for a long time to, hey, I'm going to try this.
Yeah. I think the heart of man is naturally drawn towards selfishness, and how can I make this for me, and how can I make this the most out of me, and how could I get the most fame and get the most likes and get the most out of this, and I think that's actually going to just beat you to death at the end of the day. So it's very dangerous, especially in the acting world, to get caught up in that, and I just see it too much, too toxic, and I don't know. I don't know if there's a proper healthy way to go about that in that world. So I just kind of steered away from it, and that's something that, as a result, I now have a 18-month-old baby, a new one on the way, a healthy marriage. I'm living in Florida. It's just, and I'm not saying that that wouldn't have happened, but I'm saying like where we're at is a testimony to the decisions that sometimes maybe it's not best to follow what the world says. Maybe it's sometimes best to sit back and think about what's best for, your future and whatever.
No question. No question. It's similar to it's similar a little bit into comedy, the world of comedy. A lot of guys do it for trying to get, they want to get famous. And
Mhm.
one of our former guests, Don Gavin, they call him the godfather of Boston comedy. When I told him I wanted to do comedy, he asked me why, and I said I like making people laugh. And he was like, "All right, I'll let you." And you got to know him, but he said if you answered I want to be famous, he would have said, "Yeah, don't do it." Because that's the wrong reason. Now, can that happen? Sure. And it's kinda like a side effect, but it's
Mhm.
not,
Mm.
if you go into it with that goal or that expectation, you're gonna get disappointed because it's
Right.
in your control. You don't control whether you become a celebrity, right? That
Right.
happens based on whether it's your body of
Body of
work
work.
or whether it's getting a break or whether it's, you know,
Right.
being, the hot tour girl. It can never you don't know, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, that's the social media craze right now. We're like, you asked probably 75% of young youth now. It's like, what do you want to do when you grow up? Well, I want to be an Instagram influencer. I
Oh, I
want to
wanna go
be
viral.
Yeah, I want to go viral. That's a big one too. Yeah. Like and at the end of the day, like even before Shoresy happened, dude, I had a TikTok video that got 4 million views. Actually, it's how I met my wife, ironically. But like that viral video, like that was my first time like getting a little taste of that. And there's like an underlying I would say evil, but like current that flows under the virality. Like you call it viral. Like what else goes viral? Like STDs, like diseases, you know,
Yeah.
it's not, yeah, exactly. It's not like friggin' money goes viral or like, healthy, like your fitness levels viral. Like,
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right. Anyways,
No, it's true. And once you do have like actually the podcast has had a couple that have gotten up over 1 million. I had a comedy one that like got 4 million. And
nice.
the danger of it though is like the next 3 videos I posted, I was like, all right. And it was like I got 200 fucking views. Like what happened? And I had to catch myself and go, wait a minute. Like not everyone is gonna go viral just because
Yeah.
one went great. I got a bunch of followers from it, and that's awesome. But now you got to keep, plugging away, and there's no rhyme or reason sometimes.
My
So,
Yeah, that's
sister-in-law's
why
in the
I always
business.
compare it. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Gino.
No, I was just saying my sister-in-law's in the business too, and like she says the dumbest videos go viral. Like she's into fitness and all that and health and stuff, and she'll just do like the dumbest little stupid video and it gets like a gazillion likes. And she's like, "Oh, I just had this awesome, like informative, like nutritious whatever," and that gets like 100 views. Like, no, people like funny shit and entertainment. They're not looking for like the right
Yeah.
people are going to go and look for that, right? The people that like your audience will go and enjoy that, but it's not the viral thing. If you're looking for the viral moment, then you're in the wrong industry. Like just
Right.
think like even with hockey, like John Butchergrass, like he talks at a lot of things and stuff, and he says what makes hockey great is like the people that are involved in hockey get it and love it and care for the sport. The people that are outsiders are the outsiders, right? Like I don't care about them. Like I'm not here for them. I'm here for the people that love hockey, that want hockey, that need hockey. And that's what you do it for. Same with comedy, right? Same thing what you're talking about. It's like
Yeah. But
look,
like with that, like chasing that, that's why I always compare it to like, it's like whatever the hell it is. Like if you go viral or like you kill it on stage one night doing stand up, like you get a taste of that. And like I would get small tastes of it when I was on the radio, like for 10 years in Boston. Like you get a little taste of it and then you're always chasing that. Like you're
Right.
chasing you're always chasing that high. And I'm
Mhm.
like, maybe that's why we do stand up, Riley. I don't know. We're both sober. So it's like, we're just always chasing that.
well, I mean, I think when I first started and before I realized kind of why I enjoy it and did it, I don't know how to put that, but I did chase that. I wanted that validation. I wanted to hear how great I was after the show. And now it's not about that. I just go up and share my energy, and whatever happens, happens. And then, that exchange, that energy exchange is just so powerful, but it's not, I don't know, I don't chase it anymore. It's just kind of like I let it happen. And if it happens, great. And if it doesn't, and they didn't come on the ride, well, then they didn't come on the ride.
Yeah.
Right.
You
But
know?
that's why I think what Jake is doing is like, if you're chasing it, you might be chasing it in the wrong direction, but Jake's
Right.
doing what's best for him and what he wants. And I feel like the universe will like I always wanted to play pro hockey, but I didn't have the talent or the work ethic, but I still made it to the Bruins alumni. I was like, I didn't know you could skip that whole part, just go right to the retired part.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I feel like the universe always has a way of like giving you what you truly want and need. It just might not be in the form that you.
Yeah. Well, that's why I use the analogy in digging into concrete because you're not going anywhere, dude. That's the point. Is like if and it broke my heart when to see that Fish's character wasn't in season 4. I'll be honest with you, dude. I was really disappointed in that. Well, actually, not to see that he wasn't in season 4. Jared called me personally to let me know, but like that phone call, like that was a tough one to get because I had so much fun being on show. I know I wouldn't see the guys again. I didn't have any idea about this tour. But then when I finally made ends with it, and I was like, you know what, dude, it's for the best. I got this family here, I got this life here. I'm gonna just start going after it here. And then that was a fun chapter of my life, and we move on. And then a year later, now we're selling out friggin' Rogers Place in Edmonton, and like it's just like, and I didn't anticipate that. If that never happened, I would have been fine. But like it's funny how life just turns out, man. It's weird.
Would there be a chance that Fish comes back at some point?
I think Jared's smart enough to tie loose ends. And I haven't seen season 5. So I don't know if he does in season 5, but at some point you have to find out what happened to
Mhm.
JJ, what happened to Sanguinet, what happened to Fish. And so whether that's just a conversation between the guys in the locker room or whether you actually bump into him at Pepe Panini, I don't know. That's up to him. So I'm not banking on it. I think it's a no, but you never know.
Yeah. Well, if I wrote a hockey movie, a script called Penalty Box, based on the East Coast League and referee, and when that gets made, if you'll come out of acting retirement, I got a role for you, no question.
I'm in, Mark.
Oh,
All right.
I got a
It's
role.
about hockey.
It follows 4 referees through a season in the East Coast League, and they're all trying to make the NHL, but they all have other shit going on. And it's based on 4 real characters, myself and 3 of the guys I worked with. One was a hillbilly from Chapel Hill, North Carolina, Mark Hamlet, the Hammer. John O'Brien from New York, and Richie Leonard, who was a rookie at the time. Now he became an Indian kid in the movie just because it's funnier. But yeah, it's hopefully it gets in the right hands. I'd love to have Jared look at it and see what he thought, but it's good. My writing partner, he was a screenwriter, so I just gave him the stories and he put it in the right form and stuff. And he's like, yeah, I tell people it's Slapshot meets The Hangover, and pretty accurate, I think.
Sweet.
So. But you're in.
Hopefully that works out.
I hope I get to make it so I can put the people I want in,
Yeah.
like that would be my fantasy or my ultimate situation is where I can say, all right, all my friends are in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Pat Shea will make it.
Pat Shea is going to play me in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's playing because I'm too old to play me now. So I got to take a role of someone older in the movie now.
There you go.
Pat's playing me, so I got that role cast already.
Nice.
But it's I'll definitely have you come out of retirement for sure. And you don't have to be in the union or anything. We're good.
There you go. Perfect.
We're
I'm in.
good. So for like you mentioned last time we were just talking, the golf course. So like, what are you doing now down there? And is there any hockey down there that you kind of like men's league or anything?
Yeah, with the baby and stuff, I work late nights, and so I don't really have time for any leagues, except if it's on Sunday or Monday, and that's more family time. So I'll just get that out of the way to say no, I don't really play in any adult leagues. Get a couple offers here and there, but nothing really concrete. As far as work goes, so I walked in one day, and it's just a beautiful conversation between me and my boss. We talked about duality, and at the time I was like kind of like focused on, you know, things outside of our, you talked about Josh, you said universe, and I was like kind of very much that mentality and like figuring out, okay, how exactly does this life work? Do I have to work hard? Can I just like manifest it? All this stuff. So I created a podcast. I was very much on the spiritual side of things, and my boss brought me aside, and my boss now brought me aside as a stranger at the time, and started telling me about Jesus Christ. And so when he started talking about Jesus to me, I'm like, okay, dude, like, great. Tapped him on the shoulder. I said, I grew up a Catholic. I know Jesus, but I'm glad he works for you, but he's not for everybody. And then 2-3 weeks went by, and me and my wife had this like big blow up, dude. I was here in Florida, so I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go back to Canada, and we're gonna get a divorce or whatever. And it was pretty like intense. And so on the last ditch effort, man, I just cried out one night. I was all alone. I cried out. I said, God, I just want to know you. I want to know the answers to this world, and I'm so tired of searching. And so that next morning, it was revealed to me that Jesus is the Son of God, and that we are to uh, respect what he has done and done and understand what he has done. And I could go into that maybe a different time if anybody wants to go into that a little deeper. But once I realized that, my entire life changed. I gave myself to the Lord. I got baptized, and I understood what a true relationship with Jesus Christ is. I went back to the golf course, and I was like, Mike, dude, I feel it. I know what you're talking about now. And I showed him my baptism video, and he started bawling. He goes, "We're brothers forever." And it was just a beautiful kind of, thing. And then at the end of it, he goes, "Do you want a job here?" I'm like, "Yes." I'm like, I'm in. I'm in. And I'm like, well, what am I doing? How much am I working? What am I getting paid? I had nothing. He goes, "Don't worry about it. Just show up." So I said, okay. So I showed up January 22nd, 2024, and I was making $16 an hour. I had no idea what my hours were. It was like 35, 40 hours a week. I was working the pro shop, just kind of like make it, or it was even 15. It might have been less than that, 14 or $15 an hour. It wasn't much, but anyways, um, and I was working the pro shop and at this random 18-hole golf course in West Palm Beach, and I just started working my way up and started selling memberships and getting commission off those and scrounging up money to pay off bills. And all of a sudden, like my finance, I was in pretty decent amount of debt. I started paying off my debt. I bought a car, and then all of a sudden, I worked outside. I started scrubbing clubs. Like you talk about serving and humility. Like I was a paid actor at like the pinnacle of my fame in this moment as on Shoresy, and now I'm scrubbing people's clubs for $2 a bag in a golf course in Florida. Like it was such a learning experience. So like a year went by, a year and a half went by, 2 years went by, and then we were slated to open up this $8 million clubhouse. And then my boss came up to me a few months back and he said, "Hey man, I want you to step in there. I want you to run it." So I've been running the clubhouse ever since. And so it's just a cool story of like how my life at the time was so down and out, and it was truly redeemed by the Lord. And I owe all I have to him and what he's done for me and my family. And now, here I am. I work 3 to 11, kind of choose my own hours. I build out leagues for the clubhouse. We have this like in-range, like Top Tracer, guys know like Top Golf and Drive Shack.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we have like that. We have 29 hitting bays. So like I run leagues off it, tournaments, events. I organize it all. I have like employees that I help manage and just it's really been making some good money. So we're hitting some good revenue goals and it's going well. So little story on how my golf, and then as a result, I don't golf at all. You'd think I would, but with the
No
family,
way.
I've
Live
golfed
me.
maybe 18 holes in 8 months, I think is
Wow.
what I've done. Yeah.
Wow.
So,
It's a cool story. And now when you moved to Florida, were you recognized as Fish?
so for the first little bit I was, because I had long hair and I had my goatee. But once I cut my hair and cut and trim my face, I haven't been noticed that much.
Wow.
Maybe once or twice from like super fans, like you look familiar, but like that's about it.
That's wild.
Yeah.
And now I just had the thought it'd be great to have a little road trip for the Zebras down to West Palm. Maybe do a comedy show at the clubhouse, and I'm just
You
throwing it
guys
out
are
there.
you guys are more than welcome to come by, man. I'll hook you guys up. You'll have a great time at our golf course, and then you get to stay around. We got a full restaurant, bar, and hitting bays and stuff. Come on down.
I'm
We're
working on
in.
5 minutes. I gotta work it out. I'm not a stand up like these two, but I'm gonna try it. Give it a whirl. Never know.
I
Maybe
always
my
tell
next
Gino.
calling.
I always tell Gino he has enough trauma and anger to be a good comic.
Well,
Really all it takes.
that's part of one of my bits. It's making fun of comedians. It's like how you guys are just fucking psychos or whatever, and you just go up and tell dick jokes and you know.
Well, there's a
Yeah,
little
we're
more
just
to it than that, but
you do have some talent.
We're just
And when you
just
put it
crazy
like
like
that,
Mo.
well,
yeah. No, that's a really cool story because you do go from, like I'm sure in Canada everyone knows you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you have Popular on the tour, you know, it's not like, "Oh, yeah, and Fish."
Yeah.
Like, you get I saw the applause all you guys got. I mean, you know, people love you. So it's kinda interesting that, it's a journey we're all on, right? And it kinda takes some turns up and down and in and around, and
Mhm.
before you know it, you look back and go, "Fuck, I'm in a good place," you know?
Yeah.
No, yeah, people love you. I know.
Yeah. They
Yeah.
love Josh until they find out he's not you.
Yeah. I've had some amazing conversations with fans, and I'll tell this one little story. So I was walking out after our LA show, after Dolo's performance, and and I was just kind of walking out on my own, like with the fans, and like it was so funny. So I mean, I dressed up a little bit, nice leather jacket on, new watch and stuff, had some good shoes, and like people are kind of like look like you act like you don't know that everybody's staring at you, but it's hard to just ignore it,
Yeah,
completely. So I
you
just,
can
I just
feel
say,
it.
hey guys, like I'm respectful, whatever. And like to the point where you're going down an escalator and the 10 people in front of you are like rubbernecking. So I'm, but then again, we just got out of the show of Dolo and we were all on stage, whatever. So we go down and a couple people there and I'm just kind of making some small talk with fans, interactions, whatever. And I'm walking back. And the way the LA show was set up is there's like this little center in downtown LA where you have like restaurants on either side. You have a skating rink in the middle. So there's like patios set up or whatever. And guy looks at me and he goes, "Fish." And I look at him and I kind of just like see him and he waves. And I walk over and I'm like, "What's up?" And he gets all like this. He goes, uh, "I was just saying hi." And I said, "Well, you kind of like waved at me." He goes, I just thought you were going to just wave back and move on. I said, "No, I'm not really doing anything." So, and I kind of look at his table and I said, "You guys just three?" And he goes, "Yeah. Do you want to have a beer?" And I kind of look back and I look around. I'm like, "Sure." So I went, I walked around and I sat with him. And dude, it was just like, and you got to think this is like maybe normal because you're like, "Oh, yeah, you're Fish, dude." Obviously, people react that way. But for me, in the first person experience, like I'm just a club scrubber from Florida, dude. I'm just soaking in this experience for what it is. So I
Mm.
sit down and like these people are looking at me like I only know you on a TV screen, and I'm looking at me like I am not that. But let's just talk. Let's just talk from Adam, and let's see where it goes. And so I spent 45 minutes with this couple, and then this other girl whose husband had just left like 30 seconds before they went to the show, and the husband just left. I guess he had to pick up the kids, or he had to go run. Yeah, maybe he worked early in the morning, so like he just missed me coming up. I probably wouldn't have sat with him if there wasn't an open seat either. So it kind of worked out in a way. But you talk about like little interactions with fans and people loving the characters in the show. Like I think the best part about us is the fact that we can do things like that, and
Mm.
I don't see like celebrities and people with influence maybe doing that, and maybe it's just not talked about. But if we did more of that, if we humbled ourselves and say, let's just have a conversation with fans, like we don't need to put ourselves on any sort of pedestal. And I don't think any of our guys really do. I think our guys are so good with the fans. Like
Hockey
everybody
players.
sticks around afterwards and talks to the fans. And like, the gyms went into the stands after one game. Like Jared shakes everybody's hand, takes pictures with everybody, say TR. Like we're there for hours after the game, making sure that everybody gets the full experience. And even if anybody were to meet us outside, it's nothing but humility for our team. So I think it's a really cool thing that Jared's put together, and having hockey players instead of actors, I guess.
Well, we saw it firsthand a couple times, not only at the House of Blues show, but this past year, um, Josh and I were able to hang out with everyone at the Bell in Hand, and people were like, "Is that the cast?" And almost afraid to come up. And
Yeah,
you guys
they
are
were like
like,
asking
"Come
permission to
on
talk
over."
to you guys. I was like, I
Yeah,
know, but you talk to them.
Yeah.
but
Plus, the
that
people leave
acceptance.
celebrities alone, though.
Well, but I think that's why there's such love for the show and for the characters and you guys, because it's not like you guys are like, "Yeah, I don't have time for you." Like Jared made a
Yeah.
freaking video call to someone's brother or something. The girl said, "Oh, he'd be crazy. He'd go nuts." And he makes a call and just
Yeah.
hanging out at the bar. And it's like, he doesn't have to do
Yeah.
that, but that
No.
Yeah, and
shows
I
you the
think it
type
was
of
something like
person.
Jacob just said, like the guy had just left, and he was like, "Well, call him."
Yeah.
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 And I think that's what sets it apart from, you're right. There's too many people, I think, to forget, especially famous people, to forget why they're famous. It's like you're
Mm.
famous and you have all that you have because people loved you and made you famous. And now you're gonna, not sign a shirt or sign a picture. It's like those people drive me nuts.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, but at the same time, though, like I could see where it would get into your head if you're not properly equipped with humility. Like if you're not doing the right, if you're not taking, how do I say this? Because it stems from uh a lot of maybe. Anyways, I could go into that, but that's the point. It's just you got to equip yourself with humility. That's the bottom line. We'll leave it there.
No, I
Yeah.
think if you approach it with gratitude and not ego from the
Right.
ego, right, then
It's
it
huge. Yeah.
completely changes the way you accept that and you can interact with that. If you're just letting it feed your ego, and
Well
I
said.
kind of personally, I went through this back like in the beginning. Like I said, I needed to hear everyone tell me I was great because that's what I fed off of. But now it's out of pure gratitude that these people enjoyed it, interacted with it. And, I always stay after shows and talk to people if they want to talk. And, they'll come up, "Oh, you really a teacher? Oh, did you really get hired by the NHL and fired a week later?" And it's like, why wouldn't I want to make that connection?
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
you know what? You touched on something really big there, Mark. It's that gratitude. And I think that every single one of us are just in such a position of gratitude to even have this opportunity and to be able to relive the hockey dream again and to be appreciated by people and to, that element of things is if you don't have the gratitude, you could be the most humble person in the world, but if you're not grateful, then you're missing out on a big chunk of it.
I feel like I stress too much. Like, obviously, I'm not at a level that you're at, but like here in Boston, New England, I was on like one of the top radio stations for a very long time. And like they have social media, and like people would recognize me from that and still do. And like people have asked for selfies and stuff like in public. I always feel so guilty. Like I feel like I've tricked everybody. And, like, I feel like that kinda, like, it holds me back where I'm like, "Oh, shit," or, like, WAF, like, had tons of merch, like, anytime they ask me to sign, like, a jacket or a shirt, I'm like, "I'm gonna ruin your shirt," like, you but I feel like I hope that doesn't translate to, like, that I'm not grateful
Mm,
or anything, it's just, like, I'm always kinda like, "Are you sure?"
yeah. 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 That's a tough thing to experience. I think just embracing it and in just making the effort of like building a relationship with the person that even wants your photo in the first place. Like I think
Yeah,
that's where that can, I don't know, maybe steer it in a different direction.
yeah.
No question. I experienced it the last Bruins game I went to. Couple people came up, and I had my white pine on, and they recognized me from the show. And one guy came over and he goes, "Hey, are you famous?" And I'm like, "C-list at best."
If you're
You're
gonna ask
famous.
that question, the answer's no.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He was busting my balls, but it's just cool that, it's just cool that your work can affect people that way, you know, and give them something to feel positive about,
Hmm.
I don't know. I live by a mantra. I'm looking down at the dirt, not up, so it's a great day. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
people are like, "Oh," I'm like, "If I wake up tomorrow, fuck, it's gonna be a great day, and then we'll
I don't
see
know,
what
when I
happens."
walk into a rink, everybody fucking hates me. I'm the referee. Like, everybody's looking at me like the parents on my daughter's team can't wait to get at me like, "Oh, the referee fucked us in the last game." It's fucking awful. Like, I hate
Always
going
an
out in
away
public
game.
because all I deal with is just people coming up to me and wanting
Roughing
to
is a
complain, bitch, moan, and
thankless.
groan. Yeah,
It's a thankless job for
that's
sure.
horrible. Like,
Yeah.
I deleted myself off one of the fucking group chains because I couldn't take it. I'm like, "You're complaining about a squirt a U10 squirt game and the referees in it. Give me a fucking break."
Yeah.
So, like, talking about like the interactions you've had with fans and then like being at the golf course and like how that's like a completely separated from the Shoresy life and that like has there been like I know people recognizing you is like a thing that can happen, but is there anybody that like you've recognized that's come into the golf course where you're like, oh, he's here, she's here, like
Uh, well, yeah, only because I'm in West Palm, so you do get a lot of that. Like it's more golf influencers, like the good guys. You know, we get like a bunch of long drive guys, like more golf related players. Jupiter's right down the road, so a lot of PGA guys play at a Jupiter. And but I think the most, I guess, well known was Steve-O came in one day,
Oh,
and
sick.
and I like so I've routine, man. Back when I was scrubbing clubs, I'd wipe the clubs down. I'd see there were rental clubs. I'd say, "Oh, where are you guys from?" So I leaned over the cart. I looked in the cart. I said, "Oh, where are you guys from?" What? He goes, "Yeah." I was like, that was his response. Yeah. Like, no way. I said, what are you doing here? He goes, golfing. I said, well, I mean, yeah, but like, what are you doing here? I guess he had he does comedy. He does stand up too. So he had a show at the Hard Rock or something like that. And so his producer booked him a tea time, him and his father. It was the first time he ever played golf in his life. And it was
No
at
shit.
my golf course, and I saw him out. It was pretty cool. I got a little photo with him. He was a interesting guy, but
you were asking
super.
because you were concerned about the golf carts.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, you're
yeah,
not doing
yeah,
any stunts today, right? No camera?
yeah, yeah.
No
No,
tattoos on the course.
he was actually like, because that's I would say he's probably an A-list celebrity. Like, I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
you know, he's
Oh, yeah.
big time with Jackass and everything, and his own stand-up career. He just sells out a lot of stadiums and stuff. So he's pretty big time, and he didn't necessarily feel like he was big league in anybody. So
No.
hey, did you ever see Shoresy? Just kidding.
Yeah, no, Steve-O came into the radio station a few times, and he was one of the only guys that I would get starstruck by just because his whole body is covered with, like, the tattoo Ryan Dunn gave him on the golf course, and, like, and, like, I was surprised at how fragile he looked. Like, I don't know what I was expecting, but he seemed
Yeah,
so fragile. I was like, "Oh my god, this guy's broken down."
Well, he's
yeah, oh
OD'd
yeah,
a couple times.
oh
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, dude, he's done some stuff for sure. He's had some stories.
Had he seen Shoresy? Did you? I know you didn't ask him.
I didn't. I
No.
didn't. I
Yeah.
that's not stuff. I don't know. I didn't really bring it up.
Yeah.
You
No.
you don't walk around with your Shoresy, Shoresy sweatshirts like, Mark and I do.
No. Yeah. 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 That's one thing I try not to do, man. I try to be as low key about it as possible in any sort of setting. The only time maybe I'll wear it is if we're on tour and we got the free merch or whatever. Here, I'm just, you know, regular guy.
It's awesome. But seriously, I think that's why the show is so successful because you're all the same. You know, like seriously, I don't know. Maybe I haven't interacted with any of you guys on the team that came across other than fucking regular guy. You know, regular hockey guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think that's number one. That should be our mantra, our goal is we're just regular guys who stumbled into something, you know, other than Ryan McD. None of us have any sort of experience or even made any effort to be a part of the show. We were all chosen to be a part of the show, which we should just have gratitude in whether you're in one scene, one season, or your main character. Doesn't matter. You just along for the ride.
How did you end up getting on the show?
Well, that's a long story. I do have to dip out here in probably 5-10 minutes.
Okay.
But do you want to end off on that one?
Yeah, let's do it.
Hell yeah.
Okay, cool. So uh, her name's Ashley Kidden. She messaged me on Facebook. She was part of the casting for Letterkenny. She was also part of the casting for Shoresy. I don't think she's part of the show anymore, but she was at the time. And she used to message me back and forth before Shoresy, back when Letterkenny was shooting in Sudbury, because I was part of Laurentian. And I got her contact through Facebook, and she would message me about players to play background roles on Letterkenny, because we were the only real adult team in Sudbury at the time. She'd be like, I need a 6'2", 210 build. I say, okay, Fitzy, I'll message him, whatever. I'd set it up. I'd be like the middleman. And so we built a relationship through that. And she always wanted me to get onto the show Letterkenny, and there was just never any roles that really fit my build or persona, I guess. And it worked out because Jared didn't want any overlap other than Hitchcock and I guess JJ, but they were explicitly like overlapped with that. It wasn't like a change of character. But anyways, the text came through about a month before shooting, a message on Facebook, and I sent in an audition tape. Didn't hear anything back. I messaged her. I said, hey, do you hear anything? Like, I don't know what's going on. And again, you got to think like this Shoresy thing, it could have been called like green grass, blue sky. Like you can't, because we have the name Shoresy now and we're thinking about, oh, you want to be a part of this big show. At the time, it was just this Letterkenny spinoff. I didn't know much about Letterkenny and nobody knew about Shoresy. So it was this random, could have been YouTube thing. Like we had no idea. I just sent in my audition tape thinking, whatever, it's hockey related. They need people. Let's see what happens. And she messaged me back. She goes, oh, I forgot to message you. You didn't get any roles or you didn't get the role. But they do need special skills. So they need background characters to do some hockey tricks and stuff like that. We see you have pro hockey experience. Is that something you want to do? And I said, yeah, I can do it. And she goes, okay, it's 17 days of shooting, whatever she laid out. And I said, all right, I'm in. So I was planning on leaving on the 14th or 18th or whatever. And then we started filming on November 12th. We started filming on November 13th. I got a call on November 11th at 2 p.m. I had my feet up on a desk at my buddy's work, and it was Kara Haflitzen. She's our executive producer. She is unreal. She does so much. She's set up so much. She's got the connections, and she's really devoted her last 6 years to the show, 5 years. So anyways, she calls me and she goes, Jacob. And I said, yes, who's this? And she goes, this is Kara. I'm the executive producer of Shoresy. I have an interesting question for you, an interesting offer for you. We have a role that just came available. This is about 2:00. Keep in mind, it's important to remember here in 5 seconds. So she goes, is there any way that you would be interested in filling an acting role on the show? And again, super, like, I wasn't yes, because I know what I know now. It was, well, let me see. What does that entail? Like, how does it, can I get back to you, all this stuff? She goes, yeah, no problem. So my buddy comes back because I was just filling in for an hour. I go home. And at the time, my dad just had a couple heart attacks. We had a bunch of family there, and they were all kind of just like tending to him. We were just, spending time together. I was in Kingston, Ontario, for reference, 7 hours from Sudbury. And I said, guys, I think I just got a really cool opportunity to be an actor. And they were like, what did you just say? I said, I think this might be something here. And so they said, well, how about you ask her these questions? So I wrote down on a piece of yellow legal pad. I said, I had 12 questions. How much am I going to get paid? What's the role? What's the show about? How long is it? How many days is it? What's the future of it? This, that, and another. So I call her back. And she gives me all the answers. And I said, okay, let me call you back one more time. So I go back upstairs to my family and I say, here, guys, here's all the answers. And I remember my grandma and grandpa were there. My dad was there. Mom was there. I think my uncle was there. And I said, okay, so this is what I'm going to do. And another thing, so my dad just had a heart attack. So my family was there. But I also had just married my wife and brought her from Florida into Canada because the whole COVID thing was, we had to be married in order for her to make it to Canada. So I had to marry. So I went down, we eloped, and I brought her back. That's a whole nother story. So she was living at my parents' place. We were living at my parents' place, just freshly married. And so she was in on this conversation too. So I look at my wife, I look at my family. I said, what do you think we should do? It was 6 weeks at the Radisson in Sudbury, Ontario, in the dead of winter. My wife had just come back from Hawaii. She was doing a little work thing in Hawaii. So so she goes, "I think you should do it." So I said, "Okay." So I called Kara back and I said, "You know what, Kara? I'm in. Let's do it." And so she goes, "Great. Jared, loved your audition tape. You fit the role perfectly. When can you be here? Can you be here tomorrow?" I said, "I could be there tonight." Ironically, that day I just dropped off my car to put winter tires on it. So it got finished up at 6 o'clock. I grabbed my car and I drove off to Sudbury that night. And the thing is the thing that happened with Fish's character is he lied about his hockey resume. So at 1:30, they stepped on the ice. He found out he couldn't play hockey. Jared brought him aside. He got booted off the ice 10 minutes later. Kara called me 20 minutes after that, and I committed to the show at 5 o'clock p.m. And the rest is history, man. This is the story of how Fish was built.
Holy.
Yeah,
Wow.
Oh, cool.
yeah,
He lied. That's awesome. That's such a
yeah,
cool story because everyone has a
yeah,
story of how they got there, you know?
Right.
yeah. Everybody's got a really interesting one too, man. It's not just I auditioned, they took it. Like a lot of interesting paths to Shoresy.
Yeah. Well, that's cool, man. Very
Yes,
cool.
sir.
Thanks for sharing that one. That's good stuff.
Yeah, thanks, brother.
Well, this has been awesome, man. We really appreciate you coming on and hanging for a
Thank
while
you.
and sharing your life with us.
My pleasure, guys. Yeah, I have to jump out to work here at 3 o'clock, so I got to make a lunch and head out. But I would stay on for you guys. I feel like we could chat for a few hours, but maybe another time.
Right
Well,
on.
there's always a part due if we need to. We can always bring you back on. So that's
Sweet.
always on the table.
Well, we're going
Good
down to
stuff.
Florida, right?
There
Well,
you
yeah,
go.
we're going down there. We'll film down there when we come down. We filmed playing golf before, so we'll do that.
We'll be in
Yeah, why
Tampa
don't?
at some point this year, right? Or just make it part of that trip.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
So
no,
why don't you come down? We'll film on the golf course, and then we'll sit in the clubhouse, and we'll do an interview in the clubhouse and camp it off.
absolutely. Done.
Hell yeah.
Done. We're gonna do it.
Cool.
Great stuff.
Awesome.
An absolute beauty. Fish. Jacob Smith. Just an incredible conversation and just an incredible guy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like he said, we probably could have gone for a few hours just because we were. I mean, we sometimes I forget we're on a podcast, and then I'm like, oh, it's been 2 hours. We got to go.
Yeah. Well, when you hang and talk with good people, that's what happens, and we're fortunate to have had a lot of good people on this show. I mean, really. I mean, we're in a heater right now, but I think we've been on a heater for a couple of years, with
Yeah.
the people we've brought in. So, but yeah, just another, great insight into, how hockey players become actors, become non-actors, and it's just a cool thing.
Yeah. It's definitely cool to like how things have come full circle. Like going to that first Shoresy game, we didn't know any of them, and like now I feel like we're like best friends with all of them now. Just a year later, and like that night was just so. I know we've brought it up so many. This is the last time I'm going to bring it up, but like
No, it isn't.
it's so funny because I was like just like starting to. Well, it's my Navy SEAL moment. So
Yeah, no, it's all good. It's all good. We've all had one.
yeah, we all have.
Yep.
But it's cool to like come full circle and like talk to him about that night now and like and go down and play golf with him at his course. So it's
We're doing it.
I can't believe you didn't get lucky though.
me. Well, you could have Google. It's not the 90s.
I forgot all about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
You played the part of Fish in the bar.
Yeah,
So,
I did. And it took me so long to figure out what they were saying because, like, I was like, why is everyone looking at me? I was like, they must think I'm on the show. And then when one chick was going, Fish, I love you. I was like,
yeah.
where's Fish? Oh, she thinks that's me.
That was outstanding. Well, it's been another good one, boys. As
It has.
always fun to to talk shop and have great guests on. So that's going to do it for this episode. Jacob Smith, Fish from Shoresy. I want to thank our sponsors, the Referees Crease, and also Damon Financial LLC, and throw a shout out to AOA Studios. Want to remind you that you should like and subscribe on YouTube so you don't miss anything. And also follow us on the social medias, the Instagram, the Facebook, and of course,
TikTok.
and check out chirpingzebras.com. We got some cool merch, including our lace hockey hoodies and some quarter zips, and we got a whole online store you should check out. And also, if you're at the parade, make sure you give a shout out to us Zebras and the boys, Terry Ryan and Dolo from Shoresy will be there. So make sure you do that. Maybe we'll throw you a bead or a little something off maybe a koozie or something. We'll be throwing all kinds of stuff off the parade float. So for Josh Dolan and Gino Bender Jr., I'm Mark Riley saying so long. We'll see you next time right here on the Chirping Zebras.